Part 1, slide number 4. It is about cyber cafe. And it helps me to remember whenever I move to this content, this area, cyber cafe. Cyber cafe, cyber fraud, what are types and cyber attack, impact of cyber fraud on the enterprise, techniques to commit cyber fraud, and what they will be targeting. They will be targeting my data. So types of information, data and the information, right? So types of information, the data integrity control, data integrity policies, data security and IT auditor. Once again, cyber fraud, attacks and impact of cyber fraud to enterprise and techniques to commit cyber fraud. Here it is fraud, here it is fraud, here it is fraud, but here there is cyber attack. Different topic. Then they will be attacking on my data and my information. So information, then type of information. For data, we have data integrity controls, data integrity policies, and data security and IT auditor. These are the topics in slide number 4. Okay, so that part 1 is over. Now we'll move on to part 2. Part 2, slide number 1. It has managerial control and IT control. And there is ITGC, there is Information Technology General Control, and financial controls and personal computer controls. These are all by here only. You can end it over here. That is ITGC control and financial control and personal computer controls. Okay. For managerial and IT control, it's totally different game. For IT control, I still remember the technique. It is Bencho Depot. So BCDIPO. B for B for boundary, P for communication, D for database, I for input, P for processing, and O for output. Yeah, it's quite easy. Then there's also managerial control, which is managerial control is all about the flow, how the system goes. Okay, so let's see. Then in part 2, now just I'm going to go over the topics of IT control and managerial control. So slide number 2 of part 2, management control. So top management and information system control, system development management control, programming management control, data resources management control, quality assurance management control, security management control, and operation management control. And generally operation also includes maintenance. Okay, so operation and maintenance control. You can read uh, that that flow. It will help you to remember. So for example, I used to remember the story which I made it. The top management want to build up a information system, and so top management wanted to make information system. So it goes top management near information system. So what they did, they want to develop right a new information system. So system development management control. Now since they want to develop, so they went to programmers where they did some programming for the system. Then data resources, and so after programming, they need some resources like money, so and the data from as it will be migrated from the old system to the new system, the data will be moved on. So data resources, it comes from this level. Then after moving, we will check that whether quality assurance will be done, that whether it's good or not. If everything goes smooth, when the software is made, it everything is good. Now we will deal with the security. Now, first we will go for the basic interface, the quality. After that is done, we will go for security. Now, after security is being done, we'll test it out. Everything goes smooth. Then we will operate it. For testing, it will be operational or go live, and then finally will be maintenance. So again, let me give you recap the story. First, top management wants information system control, system developed. So they went to system development team. System development team asked some programmers to do the programming. After programmer has used some data resources to make the system, after the system is made, they check the quality assurance. That is, they are checking whether it is up to the mark, up to the quality, and after that they are going to check the security features of that and operation and finally maintenance of that particular system. Okay, now next part, that is part 2, slide number 3, IT controls, which I already told you. BC, then DIPO. B for boundary control, C for communication, D for database, I for input, P for processing, O for output. In database there are two things, update and report. So be careful over here, because there is one question, if I'm not mistaken, in the PM, which is asking what are the update controls of database. So you must be very thorough that you are not answering with the report control. And if they're asking for report, you shouldn't be answering the update control regarding database controls. Okay, so be clear and read it carefully. Input control, there are still some sub classification, that is source document control, data coding controls, batch controls, and validation control. Then we have processing control and output control. And this is part 2, slide number 3. Next is part 3, that is out of box. There are certain topics in the study material which are removed, but still the questions from that particular topics are asked in the PM. So, you know, I have included those topics over here. What I would suggest to you is whenever you are going to give your attempt, check out the updated practice manual for your attempt and check whether there are any questions on this topic. If there are any questions on this topic, then to hedge yourself, you can read it. And if you don't have time, you can skip that totally. And if you don't have those questions, then you're lucky. Just leave this thing. Cool. Okay. The topics are user control, then operating system control. Operating system control is subclassification of major tasks, control objective, OS security, there is operating system security, then remedy from destruction program. And guys, if you want the slides which I am using right now, you can check the description box in which I will be providing a link where you can download the slide. Okay, so I guess that's it.
I hope you enjoy this video, and if you like it then give a thumbs up and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. AB out.